I'm joined by Frank and Karen Boykin, Stephen's parents. Thanks so much for joining us today, Frank and Karen. It's great to see you again.
It's good to see you as well, Jay.
You know, I know we condensed several years of a difficult journey into several minutes. So I'd like to go back to when Stephen was taking opioids before you found out. Did you ever suspect he was doing drugs?
Not really. At the time, he was in college, so we assumed he was drinking, possibly smoking pot, but never in a million years did we think he was using heroin.
I want to ask you something that I asked Cami Wolf-Rice a little bit earlier in the show, which is, what do you wish you had known at the beginning of this journey?
I wish we had known the signs of opiate addiction, but we didn't. But now we do. And some of those signs that I wish we knew then, they would wear long sleeve shirts, even on the hottest summer day. And I guess that was to hide track marks. Their eyes are, their pupils are very small, and they may have dark circles under their eyes. Their voice may be very raspy, and there may be extreme weight loss. They may nod off in mid-conversation. They scratch their face or arms or legs constantly. And he was always broke, even though we were financially supporting him. So even if they should have enough money to live on, they never have enough. They're always asking for more. I wish we had known that.
And so you saw those signs in Stephen, and you just chalked it up to, well, you know, he's just scratching, or I mean, right, just like a.
He's strawberry blonde. He has always had sensitive skin, or he's always been on the skinny side. He's in college. He's coming home to study for finals. He's tired. So we just kind of justified that he can manage money, his life, that sort of thing. And it just never occurred to us that it would be heroin use. Never.
You know, there are a couple of things that I wish I had known early on. I would say the first is that, you know, addiction is not a moral failure. It's a disease. And it's no different than any other disease. It is a chronic disease, a little bit like diabetes, but it can be treated. And it can be treated with 12-step program, therapy, other types of programs, and medication. Like with diabetes, insulation it's not going to cure diabetes, but you can get it under control. And the medication that we heard with Stephen that he took, buprenorphine or Suboxone, had we known about that when he first went into rehab, who knows? Maybe he would have been sober 2 or 3 years earlier.
Frank, what was your experience of trying to get Stephen help in Georgia?
You know, there are good rehab units here in Georgia, in Atlanta. But I would say that our experience was not good. It was difficult. And the decision to send Stephen across the country to Hazleton, Betty Ford, all the way out to California, that was a hard decision that we made. But it was absolutely the right thing to do. You know, the other good thing that came out of that, we, with the help of our good friend, Tom Johnson, we were able to realize our dream, the dream of bringing Hazleton Betty Ford here to Atlanta to partner with Emory Healthcare and to provide a state-of-the-art facility that would address addiction for treatment, for education, and for research. What a great asset that's going to be to have here, right here in Atlanta and across the state of Georgia. Tremendous resource to treat addiction.
And to create something that wasn't available that you needed for your own son.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
What advice do you have for families who are in the position right now that you were in years ago?
I think the first step is to learn everything you can about addiction and recovery. I think it's important to be open to more than one path to recovery. In the beginning, we just highly relied on the 12 steps and traditional treatment. And when we became open to medically assisted treatment, that's when Stephen started to get better. And I wish we had been more open to that in the beginning. And I think it's important that you and your family get into counseling, get therapy, and join a 12-step support group. They provide a community for you. You don't feel so alone. And working the 12 steps is just a great philosophy, a way that we all should be living our lives. And it just helps us to stay connected to each other in a more healthy way. And we found that through Noranon, the narcotics part of like Al-Anon.
Last question, how is Stephen doing?
I think he's doing really good. 2 years ago, he married a wonderful woman named Cece, and they have a great life in California, a great marriage, and they're both supportive of each other. I think that when he started his vintage clothing store in San Diego, that gave him a purpose and a passion. And the good thing, it's very successful. And lastly, he's been sober for over 4 years, thanks to Suboxone. So Stephen is in a really good place right now.
Absolutely.
I love hearing that. Karen and Frank Boykin, thank you so much. Sharing your story is going to help a lot of other families. We appreciate you.